Assalamu alaikum viewers. My name is Maryam Lemu and welcome to the show Sisterly. As usual, this show talks about social issues, contemporary issues and issues to do with our faith. And my friends join me as usual. With me on the right is...
Assalamu alaikum, Bimpe Aliu.
And...
Assalamu alaikum, Monsurat Vincent.
Assalamu alaikum, Lateefah Adeyemi.
Today, inshallah, we shall be talking about media and the Muslims. I promise you there is so much to cover because this is just a reality in our lives today. The control that the media has had in our lives and the influence it has had is unbelievable, but I will save the juicy details till we come back from the break. So please join us in a few minutes. Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome back to the show Sisterly. As promised, today we'll be talking about media and Muslims. On today's show, we're talking about media and the influence that the media has had in our lives. We're living in a century where this global village has become smaller and smaller, and the influence that media, social media, the news, what we carry around this Android phone, we have access to everything, and it's brought a world right into our bedrooms. Exactly. In Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah says, we have created you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. So alhamdulillah, we have actually been encouraged to get to know people from all over the world, to get to know other human beings, Allah's creations. However, social media, media generally, television has enhanced our lives, enhanced communication, helped us link and get in touch with everybody. But at the same time, we have learnt so much about each other, and sometimes what we have learnt may not be so positive. But before I go into that, I would like to know what are the good things that have come out of media generally, which includes social media. Yes, share with us, please,
Like
Lateefah.
you said, it has made the world smaller.
Yes.
Now it's a global world. Another thing it does, it promotes businesses.
Yes.
That's one of its advantages. Then it encourages people to do research. That's for those, it's
for education.
For educational
exactly.
purposes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another one.
Excellent. Universities use media in such a positive way.
Even the primary school nowadays.
Yes, live lectures can be gotten.
Honestly, Maryam, the media is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And you could use it to your advantage, and it could be used to your demerit.
Exactly.
It depends on how you want to see it.
Yes.
But there's no doubt it gives us the information we need.
Yeah.
It gives you're able to communicate with anybody at any point in time.
Yeah.
Telecommunication has become what it is today because of the role of the media.
Because of the role of the media.
No matter how you look at it, the benefits are just enormous.
Yeah.
They're enormous, and they're there for us to make advantage of.
Which other benefits would you say has come out of media?
A lot. You can use it for entertainment.
Yeah.
You can use it for information. You can use it to discover friends if you're on the social media platforms, the Facebook and the
keep
likes
in
of
touch
them.
with them as
Exactly.
well.
With them.
Yeah.
You can use it to
do so much.
To do so much.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. Well, even though we have gained a lot from learning from the social media, using it as a tool to benefit and have our own personal growth and development, it's important as Muslims that we learn how to use this media in a responsible way. And I think that is where the big concerns start to creep in. How do we use it? Because there are so many resources at the tip of our fingers that can bring the world close to us, and we have access to the rest of the world, where the rest of the world gets to know us. But how do we as Muslims interpret the meaning of using media responsibly? Who can share something with us?
Moderation is the key word.
Absolutely.
Is the watchword.
Yes.
Then we need to define what we're using it for.
Exactly.
If you're using it for business purposes, you have to separate your business
from your personal life.
personal life.
Yes.
Then the idea of posting every detail of your life on the social media especially,
Exactly.
it's not, for me, I think it's not the right way.
Well, I think that's actually one of the things as a learning tool, but also the drawbacks where it has started to encourage, it has encouraged gossip, it's encouraged voyeurism. And what are the other things that it has encouraged based on your knowledge?
For me, if you look at the media itself, you've got the traditional one, the print media, the television, you have a television there. That is more responsible to an extent.
To an extent,
you know, and that's more regulated to an extent. But the big fear we have now is with the social media.
Yeah.
Everybody goes on it and the news just goes viral.
Yeah.
God help you if it's a positive one in your favor.
Yes.
So when you talk about regulating it and how responsible it is, it depends on those
who use it,
who use
and
it,
how.
and how it is being used.
Exactly.
The owners of the media houses call the shots.
Yeah.
You know, so it depends on what they intend to project and what they
Exactly.
intend to pull down at any point in time.
Exactly.
So we all have to be very careful. It's we're all responsible. We're in it together, and then the news being passed around, you know, could have a positive impact on you or
negative.
otherwise.
Exactly, exactly. We've put our whole lives on display, and we've gotten to that stage as Muslims where we are ready to start even showing off what we are doing. People know where we are, what we're doing, and unfortunately, it's that show-off that is extremely un-Islamic. The other thing is, of course, real life allows us to experience social behavior, social conduct, social etiquette. And that helps me get to know you, talk about expressions, feelings. There is emotion in human
I was going
relations.
to also say that,
Yeah.
you know, it's made us lazy.
Yeah.
It creates a distance in between families.
Yes.
So Lateefah's birthday is today, and I'm like, oh, happy birthday.
Just send a
I can't
message.
pick up the phone and say, hello, Lateefah.
With an emoji of a cake.
What are you doing? What are you doing today?
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Hear your voice. But I'm just comfortable with just sending a cake emoji and how are you?
You're
Or
home.
happy
That's
birthday.
it.
You know, a friend of mine we were gisting and she just said that she and her husband, they talk more on the
Social
phone
media in the house.
than in the house.
Oh my God.
And her husband said, what is
What's
happening
happening?
to
Oh, they
us?
talk more
on the
on the
phone,
phone
than when they're
chat.
together
Exactly.
in the house.
And she was, what's happening to us? What's
Exactly.
happening?
So the point is, it's easy too,
Yeah.
and it depends on the way we want
And
to
it's
use
a weapon.
it. I mean, and it could be a weapon as
be a
well.
weapon.
You know. So I'm here in Lagos, and then probably my parents are far away somewhere else. It helps me keep in touch.
Yes.
But then if I now decide that the same husband I live in the same house with,
Imagine.
rather than to choose to speak with him,
I
and
send
now
him
want to use
messages. That's what I'm talking
so it's
about
the
about
choice we
losing
make
our
now.
etiquette.
If it's not right.
Exactly.
under
The choice is
maybe
hard.
It's
if
this
outside,
etiquette.
you
It
can-
encourages antisocial behavior. We
Yes.
lose our manners. People can interrupt us in the middle of conversations. I'm talking to you and my phone goes ping,
then
an
you
alert.
yes.
And guess what? I'm not listening to you. Why? Because I'm eager to know who just sent me a
Exactly.
message.
Yes.
It's so rude that you're in the middle of talking to someone and you'll find this person takes the phone.
Yes.
I'm talking to you, but I'm actually looking to
Looking at-
see who sent this information.
Do you know these days when you go to your friend's place to visit, you discover that all of you will just be on
Everybody.
the phone.
And
Exactly.
you're supposed to be there
And you're
for a
supposed to be
particular
there
purpose.
to, you know,
To
for a particular-
socialize.
to socialize, to talk,
Exactly.
you know, to
Lateefah,
review what
birthday
has-
parties.
But
A
now
friend of
you
mine-
just
Yeah.
another bad thing is each time an incident happens, especially bad ones, an accident,
Everybody is quick.
instead of people to call
To help.
ambulance or help,
Yeah.
the
They
first
want
thing
to
they'll
upload
do
the
is
You want to quickly
pictures.
take a video,
quickly take a video, take a picture, and then
post
it
it.
goes
Upload that.
Right.
on
Yeah.
the Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere.
You know, I was talking about the
Yeah.
birthday thing. A friend of mine said she was going to organize a phone party, and I'm like,
What?
What?
What's phone party?
what is the phone
I've
party?
never
And
heard
she
of
says-
that. Oh my
and she
God.
says it's for her son, a teenager. Bring your teenage child. Let them come with their device or their phones, so
Okay,
that
so-
everybody just comes.
And
you
then
hook-
you're
you
on the
hook them up
phone.
on the Wi-Fi, and I'm like,
Okay,
Wow.
so apart from that, what would they be doing?
that is the party.
Oh my God.
You
Come,
know,
you
there
hook
was
up on the
this
Wi-Fi, then you start to.
on social media where this couple, they were in the sitting room. They were supposed to be watching the TV together. The father is seated here, the mother is next there, and there's this baby that's a few months old right in the middle. And then the father is chatting, he's on the phone. The mother is also doing the same thing. And then the baby was shown thinking, oh my God, I'm sure I was downloaded. How was
yes.
it giving birth to? You
Exactly.
know, that is where we
like
are
to
today.
Oh, the one
We're
that was
hardly
the baby in the bath.
communicating. Oh, that was in the
And
bathroom.
the water ran over, and she said,
You know,
Please
so
tell my
tell
mom
my mom.
to get on
Exactly.
Facebook and come get me.
Oh my goodness.
Whereas
Yeah.
people also use that same medium to enrich themselves. It's knowledge, it's power.
Yes.
So it depends on what you want to use it for.
Depends on your
Exactly.
Back in
objective.
schools, even as young as primary school, our kids go out there on the internet
Yeah.
trying to find out how to improve
Exactly.
themselves.
Yes,
but
making
same
research.
school, when some teachers are teaching, the kids are distracted.
Yeah.
They're on the phone. So
Well,
it
it's so
depends on-
addictive, though. I think
It
that's
is.
the
It is
biggest concern.
addictive.
Yes.
It hooks you, and once you're on it, it's very hard to get off. And it's made families break apart because watch them at the TV, at the table, having dinner together.
Yes.
What do you see? Kids
Everybody
are
on their
eating
phones.
while they're busy on the phone, and so are parents, unfortunately. So this is really a concern. What other concerns do you think exist with social media and media generally?
The fact that even when you lock up your kid in the room,
Yeah.
thinking you have it all secured. Right there in the room, the
There's
boy
a
is seeing the
dangerous
world,
weapon.
and you're not even there
Exactly.
to know how far he has
Yeah.
gone.
Oh.
The knowledge that could be passed on to anybody. I mean, it's
Exactly.
all there on the internet.
Yeah.
He only needs to press in the letters, and he has those information.
Yeah.
And you're not there to moderate.
Exactly.
You're not there
You
to
have
tell
to
him this is the truth, and this
Exactly.
is not the truth. You're not there to
Exactly.
tell him. So it's a tool that we need to know. I mean, it's being used either way.
And
So
kids get very they are vulnerable, they're exposed.
Yes.
And I know lately we're being warned also about kidnappings and security issues, trying not to go and overexpose your movement, your whereabouts
yes.
on there. But for the kids in particular, obviously many have fallen into hands of predators because they're there and the parents don't get to
Recently,
censor.
there was a press release about Snapchat that it actually shows your location.
Ah.
No,
That
not
it
just
does.
not just Snapchat. Actually,
I
if
heard- I
you,
read
if you
about
know,
Snapchat.
parents, we need to also equip
educate
ourselves.
ourselves.
Educate
So I
ourselves,
educate
yeah.
ourselves. If I come into contact with any IT savvy person, and I said, just teach me how do
How
I
to
know
do
how to
this.
check this, check that. So you can actually. It's location
Enabled?
services or something. You can turn it off on your phone. So when you're on Instagram and you're in London, for instance, you post something. It says your name and London, where
location.
you are.
Oh, even if
Yes.
you,
Yes.
even if you don't
Exactly.
Even if you don't,
Exactly.
yes. But if you don't have location services turned on, wherever you are, it shows just your name. It doesn't show your location. So
Well,
you
now
need to
that
know
you've
if you're
mentioned
distance.
London, funny, it just, of course, one of the biggest concerns I have is that we have started to lead this superficial life. We see what the celebrities are doing, and we also want to do the same, live like the Joneses and project an image to the world that may
you're
not be
not.
real, you know,
And
especially
that's
now
putting
with
pressure
Photoshop.
on some families. A
Exactly.
lot of families.
Yeah.
So somebody is on social media and says, I'm in Dubai for vacation.
Exactly.
You don't even know if he's in his mom's room and trying to find
Exactly.
breakfast. And then your son is telling
Exactly.
you, oh, mommy, when are we going
When
on
are we going
vacation
on
too?
vacation?
You know,
Exactly.
everybody pretends to be happy.
Exactly.
Everybody pretends to be
That is
what
the
they are
word.
not.
And that's
You know,
Yes.
I was actually guilty of that
Yeah.
for years.
Oh,
when I was
please do
very
tell.
when I was very naive.
naive.
Disney, you'd see me and the kids, oh, Bimpe at Disney. Oh, Bimpe at this, oh, Bimpe in this, oh, Bimpe
Yeah,
at that,
exactly.
with the kids. Until my younger sister, this knowledge thing.
Yeah.
Yoruba say that your age doesn't matter. Age is
it
just,
doesn't.
I
A
mean,
number.
a 10-year-old could
It's
be wiser
number.
than
Oh,
you know.
yes.
So my sister said that, I think I posted, of course, again, my picture of the one I took with her kids. And she was like, oh, Bimpe, please take
Stay
them
off
off.
that.
If you need to look at my profile, I don't put my children's picture on Facebook. And I'm like, why? They're just kids. And she says, yes, that's the exact reason why she doesn't put their picture. And she actually showed me a post in America or London, I'm not sure, of, when they abuse young children. I think it's a pornography site.
Subhanallah.
And they
You
put
see?
faces of children
Oh,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
They do
And she
that.
says that they take pictures
From
of
the web-
children
yes,
from all over,
internet,
and
and
they
then-
put their faces on the
heard
body,
about
and she says that's the reason why. And I said
That is so disturbing.
that was the last time I posted my children's pictures.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
that is
And
really
it is a
disturbing.
security issue now.
Yeah.
You know, so you're out of the country, there's nobody in the house, and then you go to the social media. I'm in London for 5 days.
Exactly.
Okay, so whoever wants to take advantage of that could easily do that. He
Yeah.
knows there's nobody in the
And
house.
posting the
You know?
picture of the entire family,
Exactly.
even shows more that, oh,
Yeah.
they're all even
Everybody's
Exactly.
outside the
everybody's
country.
outside, so
Well,
I
this
can
is really
do
sad,
what-
very disturbing. Absolutely. I think that is such a great point, an example you gave. One of my biggest concerns, again, is this issue to do with overexposure. We adults, right down to children, get exposed to things and desensitized that nowadays you find a lot of people find what used to be considered unacceptable is okay. Bad suddenly starts looking like it's okay. And it's really disturbing. Because of the images that you see, things that before you would shun, you would squirm when you see.
They're now everyday pictures
It's
to
become
you.
everyday picture. Another thing that is a source of concern, especially to us Muslims, is the issue to do with fake news. We hear it a lot.
Right.
And, it's spoken about all the time that be careful about what you're reading because you
what
need
you
to
spread.
you need to authenticate
Verify
the
the
source.
source, yes.
Exactly. However, there's also a lot of propaganda. And we as Muslims, I don't like feeling like a victim, but we have fallen victim to the image of Islam and Muslims on the media. What do you think about that?
I think as Muslims, we should know that the Rasul discouraged spreading of the news that you're not sure of the source.
Yes.
I mean, it's very rampant on the social media. Somebody sends a post to you. You don't even want to check it out.
And you forward
and
it.
the next thing
to
you forward to all your contacts.
Exactly.
And then it goes round and round.
Yeah.
It's important for you to verify the source. Where you're not able to, don't bother spreading the news.
Yeah.
You know, it's important because whatever you send out, you become responsible for it.
Yes.
And if you can't verify the source, it's easier to just stay off such information than spread what you're not sure of at all.
What is our general image, in your opinion, based on what the social media has portrayed and media generally?
Islam?
Yes,
Muslims?
we as Muslim. What is that image that we're talking about?
I think we are the image, because if we look at what data are we using actually, if you say what's our image, because I have to look at my friends within because Facebook allows you to choose your friends.
Yes.
And also WhatsApp allows you can block
Have your contacts.
and unblock. BBM, if they don't have your PIN, they don't. So what's our image? I can say our image. I can talk about our image based on my group of friends on social media.
What you show the world.
What we show the world. So, and you know, at times, like I said, we are the image.
Yeah.
Ramadan time, I put a few postings out that I know will definitely help people. The last 10 nights, what to do when you are going for Eid, what to do, what to say. Because some people don't actually really know. And I also learn from this kind of site. So if we wait for negative news that is part of the religion, if we wait for that to overshadow the good that is part of the religion, then everybody will have a terrible
Like people rightly said, you know, we have a big tool in our hand, and it behoves on us to use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
She mentioned that during Ramadan she sends out program information to people.
Of course.
So what happens after Ramadan?
Yeah.
Ramadan is just 1 month out of 12
Our
months.
own counter-terrorism, counter-propaganda.
It's just 1 month out of 12 months.
Exactly.
So if you do that dawah
in
the month of Ramadan,
Yeah.
and afterwards you relax, then everybody can filter the wrong news around in the remaining 11 months.
What is the image that Muslims have that has been portrayed out there on the news that we are concerned about? What are we worried about with the image?
Oh, a lot.
Yes, Lateefah. So
referring to us as terrorists.
Yes, exactly.
It's disheartening.
But they do happen.
Yes,
but sadly, that's what the media focuses on.
That's what the media focuses on.
Exactly.
Because that's what they chose to focus on.
Yes, exactly.
And nobody will focus on the positive aspect except to Judaism. I won't blow your trumpet for you. So as Muslims, if somebody say you're terrorist, it behoves on me to let my friends know what my faith is all about.
And the true story.
This true story.
And that somebody out there can vouch for you.
That actually reminds me when the US election was going on.
Okay.
And the former president of the United States then was addressing a group of military men. And he said to them that he refused to call Muslims terrorists. And he says, or he refused to call terrorists Muslim terrorists. He says they're terrorists, plain and simple. Exactly. And he explained to them. Yeah. And you could tell that this man went to do some research, because he explained to them that he did not see anywhere in the Quran that says just start killing people for no reason. Yeah. And he even explained further to say that even during war, there are people that you cannot kill, women, children. But he says, look at these terrorists, they do all this. So how can you call them Muslims? Exactly. So of course, if you're also going to work on the image, it is our job to do so. But right now, the image isn't looking too good.
No, it's not.
I know every time, based on what you even mentioned, you hear a bomb went off somewhere or some horrible crime, some horrible atrocity has taken place. The first thing that I say in my heart, oh Allah, please let it not be a Muslim. I actually have that fear because it only feeds the stereotype and adds to what the media is going to highlight. Obviously, we've seen many cases where it's someone who is a non-Muslim who commits an atrocity. You will hear maybe a mentally
challenged person,
challenged person committed this. It's the way it's phrased, which is really unfortunate. We Muslims also have our own responsibility, not only to make sure we project the right image and not to feed the stereotype. We do actually cause more problems for ourselves based on how our conduct is, how we interact with people. But there are other ways that Muslims can be more responsible in giving another impression to the world, or a true impression to the world of what Muslims are like. Which other ones are there?
Maryam, this is a very good example We're trying to project what Islam stands for here.
Yeah.
This is a good media to tell the world.
Exactly.
This is what Islam is all about.
Yeah.
I mean, you would not blame an average person. We've got this Boko Haram in Nigeria.
Yeah.
They claim they are Muslims.
Exactly.
So if they say they are Muslims, an average person cannot say they are not
They're
Muslims.
not,
But I
exactly.
know what they do is
Yeah.
un-Islamic because I am a
Exactly.
Muslim. But an average person who is not a Muslim is not aware of this.
Exactly.
So programs like this, shows like this, goes a long way in giving us the right image which we deserve.
Exactly. Any other contributions to how we can project a more positive image?
Right. Like, I make it a conscious effort. On Fridays, I get some posts from my mom, different people, and I look for and of course we get some things from different people too. And I think I get something every day from Arabelle.
Yes.
So the Friday ones are actually really nice. They are prayers. So that I put on my DP, and everybody
Sends
sees
the
that.
message
Yeah.
across.
I send the message across.
Yeah.
Eid, Salah, Ramadan, the little I can do, I put it out there, just so that people are aware. And at times I put a prayer, I put a short prayer, praying for everybody, inshallah. And most of my Christian friends say Amen.
They appreciate
Amen.
it. Yeah.
Amen. So
Yeah, to keep projecting a positive image.
You can't pass a good message across and
Yeah.
people won't follow you.
Exactly.
You can't pray for someone and they'll go against you. So it all behoves on us to tell the people the beauty of this religion,
Yeah.
the stuff we're actually made of. Because if we don't tell them, they won't bother to go and read the Quran themselves. We're actually the Quran
Exactly.
they intend to read. So if you pass out the right message, we can be sure it will be better than this.
Exactly.
Yes. In
Lateefah.
that sense, we should try to be at our best character.
Exactly.
At all times.
Exactly.
Especially when
Be
we are in
Muslims.
the public. We should be Muslim.
Exactly.
We should try to practice the way
what Islam
Rasulullah
says.
Taught us. We should try to emulate his manners. Though it's not easy, but we can try.
Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely. I appreciate that contribution. We need to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to go into more in-depth information about the social media, how to use it positively, and get the best out of it, inshallah. So to our dear viewers, please join us after this break. Assalamu alaikum, viewers. Welcome back to the show, Sisterly. Today we have been talking about media and Muslims and the effect it has had on our lives. This is a reality in our everyday lives today that we have to contend with. We've talked about some positives and some negatives. Big concerns have also been raised. Amongst them include the fact that the media today is unfiltered. Right. There's no censorship, so to speak, not a real one, because everything seems to go, everything is fair game. People have access and they get fed even things they didn't go looking out for. What kind of things are big concerns today?
I mean, when you talk about uncensored, in fact, the social media is the first headache you have.
Yes.
You try to check anything online.
Yeah.
Beyond the
They
social media,
pop up.
anything on the internet, and then you have this
Exactly.
pornography popping up.
Exactly.
I mean, you try to do a research, an innocent one for that matter, and then an obscene comes up. You're
And
like
children see that.
Exactly. Even as adults, you
Yeah.
can't even stand some scenes that you see. But as Muslims, we need to be aware that these are the realities of the time. Be extra conscious, be extra vigilant, read more of the Quran. Lower your gaze where you can, and then be
Excellent
more
advice.
watchful over our kids.
Yes.
Because even we, the adults, are struggling to keep our sanity with what is being thrown to our faces,
Yeah.
not talk of our kids.
Exactly. A simple assignment that a child would go and do, you believe your child is innocent
safe
and safe
because
in
of the
his
sites
room.
they are visiting.
And then they suddenly stumble across something that you never, ever hoped they would ever be exposed to at a very, very young age. And there is no mercy there, nobody to say sorry to you once they go off. The media is also being used for extremist ideologies to propagate them and also to recruit. We've seen it with ISIS. We've seen it with many other terrorist groups out there. In addition to that, atheism is on the rise, sadly, especially amongst the Muslim youth. How do we immunize, how do we protect our children from being infected? How do we protect ourselves? Because full-fledged adults are being recruited right now, and they're ready to sacrifice their lives in so-called the name of God, whereas it's actually not Islam, but they fall for it, they take the bait. There's a lure out there that's so powerful, a force that we're contending with. How do we go around or about trying to make sure we don't fall victim? Any ideas, any suggestions?
the first thing is awareness.
Yes.
You should know what you're going into.
Yes.
Then another thing is limiting the way you expose yourself.
And your children.
And your children.
Exactly.
And your children.
Yeah.
Then your children, you should know that you should try to be their friend.
So close to them.
Close to them.
Oh,
and
their friend on social media.
You should try to, so that you know what they get up to, you know who is following them, you know who they are interacting with
What
at
they are
every
seeing.
point in time, what they're seeing.
Exactly. That's one way of doing it. Absolutely. Any other ideas, Bimpe?
Right. Because I have 2 teenage boys.
Yes.
And if you look at the amount of time they spend at home and in school,
Yeah.
they're actually more in school right now than, because they're boarding students, than at home. And alhamdulillah, they're in a school that actually filters and blocks everything.
Wow.
So you
That's
cannot,
unusual.
You cannot go outside where you're allowed to go to.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit at peace. But
When
I
they're in
can't also
school.
leave it to the school alone.
Exactly.
So I call the one that loves to play football, and I say, it's easy for them to recruit on Facebook.
Yeah.
And this is how they recruit footballers, and they say this and they say that. Even the one that doesn't play football, that doesn't like football, I let them all know.
Yeah.
Social media, you can easily be recruited.
Exactly.
You may just be playing video game with somebody online, and you see a message, things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Different, not just football,
Right.
social, video games too.
Yes.
So they already know, and they know the evil that these
Exactly.
terrorists
Yes.
perpetrate. And Abrahman, I say, my prayer warrior,
Yeah.
in the morning he says, Ya Allah, let all the terrorists destroy them, take them away from the
Amen.
surface of the earth, inshallah,
beautiful
because they are
one.
destroying the name of Islam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he understands.
Yes.
And I'm very happy. So we
Exactly.
That's
need
why
to
I
just
said exactly.
keep talking.
That's why I said awareness, education. We need to let the kids know this is what is happening, especially if they're of
Exactly.
age.
Exactly.
You know, this is what is happening. This is, you don't, I mean, the social media is uncensored, like you rightly said.
Yeah.
You don't just have to accept every invite. You don't have to
Exactly.
follow everybody, you know. And then if they are very active on social media, be their friends.
Exactly.
You know,
What
know,
are they doing?
Know what their interests are.
yes.
And then that helps you to understand what is going on. And like she rightly said, most schools do try to restrict the sites that the kids can visit while in school.
Yes.
But then while at home,
You
under
have
the
a
watchful eyes of we,
responsibility.
the parents, you know, we need to monitor them as well.
Exactly. The influence of social media is very powerful. The influence, more importantly, on Muslims is a big concern. There's been so many positives and quite a whole load of negative that have come out of it. What would you say are the positives or the negatives that you have observed from social media and the media generally?
Okay. I actually discovered Dr. Bilal Phillips on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'd never heard about him, you know. And I started following him and reading his posts,
Yeah.
forwarding it to other people as well.
Yeah.
You know, it depends also on your objective.
What are you on it
I
for?
love Islam.
Yeah.
I love fashion. I love food. I love my children.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, I follow
Those
a few
areas.
chefs that I know I love the kinds of food that they prepare,
Yes.
and I would like to also, because my children say, Mommy, you watch Food Network, you don't know how to make all these things. Now they are back home and I make all these things for them, and I'm like,
Yes.
Mom,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
it depends on
There are
what you
some
want to achieve
positive
from social media.
things,
You
yeah.
have to make sure that you don't get caught up in because like you said, you wake up in the morning. I was guilty of it.
Yeah,
I wake
you're
up in the morning,
addicted.
WhatsApp, before I even say my morning prayer,
Prayers,
you're
yes.
supposed to say a dua before you get off your bed. Before I say that,
You
I'm
grab
my
checking your
phone.
phones.
And I'm like, how many messages, all the alerts?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening to me?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
There are
exactly.
lots and lots of positive, like she rightly said. There
Yeah.
are beautiful Muslim websites you could go to
Yes.
and learn about your deen. You know, you could start a blog on your own and then propagate your religion.
Yeah.
But also there are the negative sides as well, which is what we need to watch out for.
Yeah.
Even as adults, because the way things are going on now, even adults are falling prey of all these issues happening
Exactly.
outside there. So you need to know what is there. You need to know what your kids are following, and then
Exactly.
try and monitor them more closely.
Yeah, I know quite a few people were surprised when they saw some football stars happen to be Muslim, like we were discussing before
Yeah.
we came back from
Yes.
commercial.
break.
Even Ozil, there was a picture of him at Umrah, and then all of a sudden everyone like, wow, cool, there's a role model, someone whom
Exactly.
we can look up to that is a representative of Islam. One concern I have is this chat groups that we have. We become part of a chat group, and I remember talking to this particular lady who was actually saying that she's in depression. Why? Because she's in a chat group, and every time she posts something on social media or in the chat, people don't make a comment. And then
don't
somebody
respond.
else posts a
And everybody's
comment or
following.
makes a, puts a video out there, and then she sees so many people pray for her, say mashallah or whatever, and it just put her in a state of depression. And if you're not careful, you're part of a chat group that you don't actually know who the people are that you care so much about, whether they validate you. And today I think that is the biggest concern, that we live our lives and follow people, and people follow us, and it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. How many followers we have. Our relevance and significance now is
It's
about
determined
total
by social
patience,
media now.
not
How many likes?
people, not my loved ones, not the people I can influence. That really is very disturbing.
It is. I was just recently added to a group.
Yeah.
They asked for my permission, and they said it was mostly women of like minds, promoting Islam and all that. And unfortunately for me, the very first few posts that I was opportune to get from this particular group, somebody was just posting Ankara, buy this for your Salah, buy that for your Salah. I waited for one day. Day two, the same thing. And I just exited the group because the person that added me is a bit elderly. So I called and I said, I'm sorry, I had to exit the group. Because I'm in so many groups, and if it's not going to add value, I just don't want to add any more headache to the kind of the number of notifications I have. So if a group is not actually, if you're not getting value from a particular group, I think you can politely exit yourself from that group.
Yeah.
You can't just be a slave to social media just because.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And Maryam, this is the type of education I've been referring to.
Yeah.
Even as adults and to all our loved ones, you need to pass the message across. You are a Muslim.
Yeah.
A friend outside there, an unknown friend in most instances, cannot determine your life for you. Okay, so the fact that you are in a group, and these kids, in fact, if I check my son's phone, he's got several groups. Almost everybody wants to form a group now.
Yeah.
So I'm in a group, and then I send out the chat, and nobody's responding. And then
Exactly.
somebody else sends out the same thing, and everybody says stop. And we now have cases of depression because of that.
Exactly.
People are feeling left out,
Yeah.
because in actual fact,
That's exactly
they don't
what I was
even know
saying.
everyone
Exactly.
of each other. They don't even know each other. So you can't allow them to determine who you are. You are who you are. And
Exactly.
then my opinion about you, as your mother, your loved ones,
Matters
their
more.
opinion matters more. You don't
Exactly.
have to, you can't even please the world.
Yes.
So don't bother.
Exactly.
And don't put that pressure on yourself.
Lateefah, what do you use social media for?
I make research.
You do research. That's
I do
fantastic.
research.
Yes.
I do research about practically everything. And I use it for business purposes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You mean for making
For
contacts,
making
networking?
contacts, for getting ideas.
Yes, exactly.
It
Exactly,
gives you
ideas on how to
inspirations,
grow.
ideas on how to grow.
Excellent.
How to develop myself.
Yes. Personal
And
development. I
personal
think that
development,
is
yes.
so fantastic.
And I've been on
Maryam,
that.
we've got a big tool in our hand that we just have to use to advantage.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I'm not into too much of social media because my work doesn't determine that I stay that long on it.
Yeah.
But the little one I make use of, which is the WhatsApp, I see people make money out of it. And I
Yeah.
call my kids' attention. I've got friends who are consultants, and they will tell you, give me 1 hour of your time. I'll form a group, and then we'll discuss this issue, and you pay me this amount. And then I call my kids, see what this person is doing about it. These are people they probably know
Yeah.
that I have to pay for this person. I mean, for 1 hour, I can't talk to you because we are in this group. Not just chatting. Yes, I'm on the phone. Not just chatting, but I'm learning and I'm
Exactly.
paying.
Yeah.
So why you think mom is chatting like you are doing? I'm actually paying for somebody else's knowledge. And so if somebody is using that tool to their own advantage, I won't allow anybody to make me at the receiving end.
Yes.
You go on the internet, you make research, you make your money out of it. People have blogs, and they're making millions out of it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
as Muslims, you don't let that derail you.
No.
You don't let the social
You
media
can do the
prevent you
same
from,
thing.
exactly. You can do
Yeah.
make good use of it.
Yeah.
But you see Muslims, people generally, and Muslims inclusive, get addicted to it. You don't say your salat. You
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, first thing is your phone, you're responding to
Exactly.
chat. Even
Exactly.
people don't face their normal day's work, because they have to respond to text messages,
Yeah.
several of them, which are
Exactly.
usually of no use to them.
Bimpe, one of the biggest things we've obviously shared right now is the influence that media has had on our lives right now, and how it's really become almost a lifeline. We panic if we can't find our phone. If we panic if we don't hear a ping go off after a while. We actually check to see, is the phone still on? And if it is still on no ping, it's
But the
like,
world
they don't
ended.
love me anymore. Our relevance, everything is tied into this. And there is an addiction that has been created. Sadly, we've become more addicted to media, social media,
Yeah,
than
true.
we have to even Allah. Since the first time we wake up in the morning, sometimes we look at our phones before we get up and pray. Another example is you are even praying in the mosque, and then you find that as soon as everybody has finished salamu alaikum, people bring out their phones and start going back on media. We are losing our faith if we do not use this tool properly. Another very disgusting and disturbing concern is how you find Muslims at funerals taking pictures of funerals progress, and even saying, funeral things, and taking a picture with the body in the background. Or you see accident scenes where people actually take grotesque photographs.
Yes.
It is so wrong. It is so un-Islamic. Now, the question is, how do we refocus? How do we find our center and our qibla so that we actually are the ones in control, not allowing this tool, actually it could be positive, but also could be negative. It could be a dangerous weapon to take control of us, where we are no longer the drivers of our lives, but the passenger of the media and where they want to take us. What do you suggest to detox us from this addiction?
Okay. While you were talking, I quickly remembered this picture that was going around some time ago about, I think it was a graphics, but the message was very clear.
Yeah.
Selfies, and they say Kaaba selfie at the Kaaba, selfie here, selfie there. Why don't you go and do a selfie with Almighty Allah?
The Kaaba in Mecca. People were taking selfies.
Just trying to let us know that this selfie thing is going too far. Yes. Selfie while I'm praying, selfie while I'm doing sujood, selfie,
Yeah.
I can actually relate to that because I did something similar a few months ago. I left my last job, which was banking, and what I did was I simply went off social media.
That must have been very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
I went off Facebook, I went off Instagram, and I just stuck to WhatsApp. My kids are on WhatsApp. We communicate. My family, we have a family group. That was the only reason why I stayed on WhatsApp. But every other aspect of social media, I went off.
Yeah.
And I started getting calls from my friends. Are you okay? Is everything okay? And I said, I'm very okay. I'm very fine. You haven't heard from Bimpe. Bimpe is fine.
Yes, Bimpe is taking charge of herself.
Exactly. And guess what? I felt really good.
Yeah.
I felt very, very good. I was able to also learn new things. I was able to learn a few things about doing do you know Nurkan?
Nurkan, he has great videos.
It does so
Absolutely.
beautiful graphics, and I'm like, I learned quite a few. I'm not an expert as the kind of graphics he posts, but I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Staying on social media will not kill you.
Exactly.
And I felt really, it was like a detoxification for me.
Yeah. Lateefah, how do you suggest we detox ourselves from this social media or media addiction?
Okay, well, I would say that it's knowing when to stop.
Yeah.
There's always some point in time that you have to do things differently to achieve results.
Yeah.
Some time ago, I left my job, and in order to discover myself, develop myself, and know the next line of step to take.
Yeah.
I went off Facebook. I went off other social media.
Yeah.
And I only left my WhatsApp, just like Bimpe did.
So again, it's just you taking
it was
charge.
Just like taking charge, and and it stopped all the distraction.
Yeah. You were able to get
and
more focus.
I was able to, to get the focus that I
Exactly.
needed at that time.
Exactly.
And it really helped. I'm still on Facebook till this moment, and it hasn't taken anything away from me.
That is good advice. Viewers, honestly, this is a serious issue today that is consuming our lives. We have to be creative in what methods we use to, first of all, identify that there is a problem and that we have gone off track. And know that this can be a great tool, a great resource for our personal development, which as Muslims we've been highly encouraged to do. A tool to do research, a tool to get to know things about the whole universe that Allah has created. However, be able to check yourself and look for the warning signs that you have become addicted or you're getting into sites that are really unhealthy or inappropriate. Inshallah, after the break, we shall talk about a few extra things that are relevant. So please join us. Assalamu alaikum, viewers. Welcome back to the show. Today we've been talking about Muslims and media and the influence that this thing has had in our lives. We've talked about a lot of positives and not so positives and the negatives. Most importantly, we've talked about the addictions, and we've shared a few tips on how to hopefully detox ourselves if we identify that we are actually hooked, and find new alternatives of how to use the media, social media, in a more positive way that will benefit us. Obviously, one very, very useful tool is personal development. Making sure we understand that there are gazillion resources out there that will help us grow. And then, of course, the faith itself. We can gain a lot because there are a lot of sites that
websites.
have to do with the deen. We can become members of groups like that, and that is okay. That is positive because these are people who will be sharing feeds and sending messages that will only strengthen you and bring you closer to Allah. Which other positive ways can we use the social media that will strengthen our faith? Any ideas, any suggestions?
The media, to me, is a big tool, a
Yes.
big business.
Yeah.
You could use it to propagate Islam,
Yeah.
for your own personal development. You know, like you rightly said, there are various websites you could visit and get lots of resource material. You could also have your own blog and talk about Islam,
Yeah.
create more awareness.
Dispel misconceptions.
Exactly. Even the same social media that we're talking about today, we've got a lot of people making their millions from there.
Yeah.
So many online shops nowadays, whether Islamic or general things that they sell,
Yeah.
and they're making their millions. So as Muslims, you should know that you have a tool in your hand that you could
Exactly.
use to your advantage.
Exactly.
We can't allow tools being used by others to make their money, to propagate their religion and their belief,
Yeah.
to not be used against us. We've just got to
Exactly.
take the rightful place.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's great. Any other ideas on how to, as a Muslim, use it in a positive way?
Maryam, this is very important, very, very important. I see that we don't have a lot of Muslim media entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So we can say we need more media-preneurs.
Oh, I love
From
that
our
word. That's a good one.
Yeah, Muslim
Let's add that to our
Yes,
vocabulary.
yes.
Mediapreneurs.
Please
Yes.
do. We need more Muslim mediapreneurs.
Tell me
out
what
there
you mean.
That can actually propagate Islam.
In a positive way.
Because during Ramadan, you see a lot of adverts,
Yes.
sponsorship programs, but it stops after Ramadan.
Yeah.
And what happens to people that want to continue to hear about Islam?
Exactly.
And all the advertisement, all the noise stops once the fasting is over in 30
Yeah.
days. So in our own little way,
So
we
it's
should-
temporary, in other words.
It's temporary. We
Because
need-
someone else is controlling
exactly.
the
we
media.
we need something that is permanent.
Exactly.
That would promote the beauty of this religion because it is, wallahi, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we should always
Push for.
try to do. Right?
Yes,
and push for,
that is,
right.
in other words, getting more
Exactly.
people into the
If I could
media.
just join Bimpe,
Yeah.
we just need to make a deliberate effort.
Yeah.
The space is there. The media world is a very big one. But you see, those who control the media houses call the shots.
Exactly.
You know, so we need to make that conscious effort and take our rightful place. Set up our own media houses, and then we could capture the minds of people. We
Exactly.
could tell our own story. Nobody can tell your story as well as you will.
Yeah.
Tell our
Exactly.
story from the angle of a Muslim. You can't tell me about the Quran. I am a Muslim. I read my Quran.
Yeah.
But you see, if I have to leave it to somebody else, he will just say what he
Exactly.
chooses to say. So we need to do that.
Yeah, and the few media houses that are giving a positive image or a more truthful image, unfortunately, there is so much propaganda going on to even
Against
shut them
them.
down. I think in summary, we've shared quite a lot from so many different angles of the benefits of social media, how to use it for our personal growth. Umar radiallahu anha said, call yourself to account before Allah calls you to account. And this is something that is consuming our lives. If you're not going to do it to grow, to develop, not only yourself, but to develop the ummah, then check yourself and see whether you are actually doing the right thing and whether your compass is facing Qibla, because that actually at the end of the day is what we will be called to account for. What did we do with the time that we were given on this earth? The best of mankind is the one who is the most useful. Are you doing something useful? And are you the best? Because that is what the Prophet ﷺ is emphasizing. The best of mankind. The best of mankind are those who are the most useful. And may Allah make it easy for us, inshallah. Please join us next time during another very interesting and insightful episode of this show. Assalamu alaikum from me, yours, Sisterly.